Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Party Invite podcast. Every week we bring you a show in two parts. Oh, actually, no, we are the Party Invite show. We bring you a show in two parts. The first part is the podcast, which begins right now, and the second half is the game stream. Today's game is going to be As Dusk Falls. For everyone here who is live in chat, this is very exciting because we have community voting that's going to make our decisions for us. It won't just be me and the crew making those decisions. It'll be everyone in the community. But that's the second part. The first part is this podcast. I am your host, Tegan. I am joined right here by the wonderful Vilos.
That is me. Hello.
Oh, my camera's backwards, and this feels so strange. I feel like I'm in a fun house. Only people watching the video version of the podcast get this, and it's for free.
No, actually, it kind of looked like you were pulling my strings for a second.
Oh,
So
I'm the marionette.
wait a sec.
Oh, no. So I am your puppet master, Tegan. We've got a short podcast for you this week so that we can get to the game stream. But we are going to skip our party topic this week. We just decided, you know what? We're tired of thinking. We'd rather play some video games about it. No, we
definitely the thought that came through.
Yes. No, we love our party topics, but this week we're just going to take a little break from that. But we're going to jump into what we've been playing. For everybody in Twitch, we have a new command. You can type in !WWBP, and it pops up a list of everything we're going to talk about today. So if you ever miss the name of a game and you'd like us to repeat it, that's the best way to make that happen. Well, Vilos, I pretty much played the same stuff I always play, so instead of actually talking about the game, everybody's heard everything I have to say about the games. I wanted to talk about specifically the streams that I had in the past week with those games. So I've got 3 games on my list, you've got 2, so I'll start off with one of them. We'll start off with good old Spelunky 2. Yesterday, so every Tuesday, I've been streaming Prey. And usually Chris is there to join me, but since Chris wasn't here this week, I decided to start the stream with Spelunky 2. Because I'm trying to beat the game, but any of my real attempts, I want to be live on camera, right? Because if I actually win it, I want everybody to be there alongside to cheer me on, or maybe to, put a sound emote to bonk me in chat when I die foolishly. Well, dying foolishly is what I did this time. I did pretty well. I didn't even have a warm-up game. We were doing really well. We got to the 4th world and the 3rd area out of 4 in that. I picked up what I mentioned, I think, last week. I used to think that the power pack was the worst item in the game that you could wear. Turns out it's not. It's great. It makes your bomb explosions massive. Well, that got me killed this time, because I was trying to blow up a wall to get to the pet. The pet is who you save to get, take the pet to the end of the world, and you get, 1 bonus health. Well, the 1 bonus health never ended up mattering because I laid the bomb down and realized it was too close to the pet, so I was going to blow the pet up. So I panicked, and I picked up the bomb, and I tried to throw it, but there wasn't enough space, and so I couldn't get out of there quick enough. Bomb explodes, I go flying, the power pack on my back explodes as well. But the pet survived, so you know what? It was worth it, and I think the pet will remember that for next time. But I felt pretty good about that. That was my first try of the night, and it couldn't have gone... Well, I mean, it definitely could have gone better. But considering that was with no warm-up or anything...
Big shout out to Ramil B. Thank you for subbing Tier 1. It's nice to see you come by.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We're here all night. No.
I mean...
So, Spelunky 2, though, I mean, that was a game. That was a typical ending for Tegan, yeah.
It was, but that indicated, every time we die, we learn new ways not to die next time, right? So every death is a learning experience. The fact this was first try, no warm-up, did pretty well. Totally could have avoided that and gotten much further. But this shows, I'm really making good progress. Like, even just on a regular run, just one try, World 4, World 4-3. I'm pretty happy with that. There are a bunch of worlds after that, but it's good progress. So that's where we're at today. Hopefully, when I report back next week, I'll be even further.
But we have to have that win on screen,
Oh, we
on
have
stream.
to. So, yeah, the reason I did that on Tuesday is I don't really have enough time to stream another stream during the week. We have Tuesdays and or Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Today's Wednesday, and maybe I'll be able to do Saturday streams again at some point. But having free Saturdays is pretty cool. So Tuesdays will probably be the days to tune in for that, unless I end up alone here one Wednesday, and then that's going to be a Spelunky stream, just a marathon after the podcast. But I won't, subject everybody to that quite yet, quite yet. But yeah, that's Spelunky. We'll get that win on stream here soon. My goal is to beat that on camera before the end of the calendar year, and I'm confident that I can do that. Even if I only play once a week, I'm confident I could do that. So that was Spelunky 2. Vilos, do you want to tell us about one of the two Xenoblade games that you're playing?
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go with officially Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Future Connected. That is the DLC that came with the Definitive Edition to quote unquote bridge the gap between two and any future games. But Nintendo was a little coy with that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we've learned since the Xenoblade 3 reveal and everything that there is a little connection between the first, second, and third games, but it's really only stuff that people that have really stuck it out into the series would know. So
Well, hey, tell me again. This is because you got two Xenoblades on here. This is
yeah,
definitive
so Future
edition.
Connected. So Future Connected is the DLC for what is effectively the first game in the series. So uh, it was 15 hours of my life over the past week,
Yeah.
uh, which is extensive for DLC, but it was really great. It's Future Connected has two of the main characters. The main character Shulk from Xenoblade One, and the
Oh, Shulk was in
he was in
Smash, right?
Smash.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. I know him. Or
and
them. Well,
the bird girl that you see in this trailer here is Melia, very much a fan favorite that everybody wanted to ship the
good. So
two.
so Bird Girl is a compliment.
Yes, yes, everybody loves her. So Bird Girl's absolutely a compliment. So this story is really a lot about um, the racial divide for her race is a high Intia. She's specifically half high Intia and half Homs, which is the human form in the Xenoblade series.
This is a family podcast. You can't talk about Hyentia on here.
It's actually how you spell it is very close. Um, the so her whole kingdom basically, because she is technically a lost empress. Her whole kingdom has been largely destroyed. Her capital city is kind of taken over by this thing that's called the Fog King, and you learn in this DLC that the Fog King is effectively a creature that came out of this rift. And for anybody that knows the Xenoblade series, Xenoblade 1 and 2 have, and this, you could call it a spoiler, but it's really not, in their old games, whatever. Um, the story of the games is actually that this one major event happened uh, actually in Earth's orbit, where this scientist used this thing called the conduit to basically restart the universe.
Oh yeah,
and
Elon
because
Musk is
that's
at it again. This
yeah,
is
yeah,
why.
yeah, it's human science. It's very complicated, but it's doable. uh and so when that happened, it kind of caused a whole lot of things to go wrong. Xenoblade 3 is going to be um, the next step as far as how the universes of Xenoblade 1 and 2 coexist or combine. And Future Connected kind of shows potentially how the rift between the universes kind of started up. Um, really though, it's just uh, a very intimate chunk of Xenoblade, because it's such an expansive series. Every game is so long. The 15 hours here were very very concise storytelling, very much about the characterization of Melia herself, because the main storyline in Xenoblade Chronicles was not really that kind to her.
Hmm.
A lot of her potential story was left on the table,
And
and
that's
then
that's
also,
pre DLC. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, pre DLC, yeah, the actual ending of Xenoblade Chronicles One, um, it really didn't do a whole lot of favors to Melia's character. Mostly because she was like a temporary love interest for Shulk for a minute, until some other things happen. Um, that's actual spoiler territory. But besides that, there's another character, Riki, who's a Nopon, who's the cute little creatures that are in every Xenoblade game. Uh, you have two party members that are two of Riki's kids, and they help flesh out Ricky's character, even though you actually don't see him in this game. And
Oh,
it's
really?
really funny. It's really funny how this DLC works, because it really just adds to the main character Melia, and then it adds to one of your party members that was in Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive. It's really fantastic, though. It's something that it actually comes directly with uh, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive. You didn't have to buy it separately or anything. So
Oh.
that was a really great thing to add into it, since originally Xenoblade Chronicles was 2013, 2011,
Hmm.
2013, one of the two. um, and it just it looked great for the Wii at the time.
Yeah,
That's what
I
it
was
came
gonna
out
ask
on.
that.
But it was on the Wii, and then 3DS got a 3D version of it, which
Mhm.
was slightly better, hilariously.
Did you beat that
Um,
as well?
I did not. I kind of want to go back and play it, but dude, you can't. If you look at the comparison graphics between the two, between Definitive and even the 3DS version, like, and
Hmm.
the 3DS version's better than the Wii. Like, it's no contest. It's the muddiest, just grubbiest looking stuff you'd ever seen on a system. Technically, they were still achievements on both the 3DS and the Wii when they came out, but man, it's tragic. So if you're interested in the Xenoblade series at all, do not start at the OG release of it. Start at Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive for damn sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, let
that's
me
such a
pop over to one of mine because okay, so you played that on the Switch, and did the definitive edition just come out? Let's see,
that came out in 2020.
they came out in 2020.
Yeah.
Right on. How many Xenoblade games have you played? Ballpark. I don't know how many there.
So four officially. So it's the two main series games, that would be Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2. They're DLCs, Future Connected, and for 2 it was Torn of the Golden Country. The other title is the Wii U's Xenoblade Chronicles X, and that's the one that everybody's waiting for on Switch. But Monolith Soft, and mostly Nintendo is saying it's not possible, or they're not willing to put in um, enough to get that on the Switch,
Yeah.
because it actually took advantage of the Wii U's tech. But we'll see. We'll see.
All right. Well, what else have I played? I play. Let's just talk about Prey because I played it immediately after Spelunky on yesterday's stream. I'll pull up some of the footage here for it. Um, Two things of note from yesterday's stream. I had a really good time. I made a little bit of progress, but the way that I play, uh, I'm very much looking in every single nook and cranny for every hidden thing that they can give me. There are tons of tiny little hidden things, and the harder you look, the more you will find. So as far as streaming goes, it definitely means that my stream is a lot slower than the rate of play that Chris has, for example, because he's also playing the game right now. So I'm always going to be behind him, and that's just how that's going to be. But yesterday we found this guy in the video who I'm pretty sure is played by Walter Goggins, whose name I only know because just the day before it, we met some people and we had a conversation about what's his name, Oliphant, uh,
With the elephant, yeah.
Yeah, because they were talking about him, and then they talked about Justified, and then they were talking about how Walter Goggins is in Justified. And before I didn't even know that he was in that movie, but when they started describing him, he's the kind of character who is instantly recognizable, and he almost always plays a terrible, horrible human. And so when I walk into this room and I see this criminal who is now a prisoner of this space corporation, and he's clearly in a cage, um, where he has been like experimented in on. Um, all of that together with his voice and his look, I'm like pretty sure this guy is Walter Goggins.
This dirtbag, this clearly salt of the earth person over here.
Right, so
It's
you walk in, he is the first real life human I've seen in the game since the intro where things went terribly wrong for everyone. I've seen recordings of people, um, and lots of corpses, but I have not seen an alive human until I found this guy. So I'm sitting there and I'm just amazed by that. And so he's telling me to let him out. Because, yeah, he's got like a rap sheet that you can see on the computer, but I look at the computer, and the only option in there that a lot of the bad guys are called mimics. It's one certain type of the enemy that you're fighting, and it says extract mimic, and I was like, oh, is there like a mimic inside this guy? Like, am I about to press a button and like take a mimic out of him somehow? And
please do, yeah.
and so you can see on the video, I click it, and this big door opens to this central chamber with a big spooky bad guy in it. And a mimic jumps into this little chamber that's connected to his cage, and the guy starts freaking out. Because if that thing gets in, he's dead. That's it. But I didn't realize that's what I was doing. I didn't realize I was pressing a, hey, do you want to kill this guy button? So, fortunately, the game basically gave me an are you sure button, because I pressed that first one to let the mimic into the chamber, and then I have to press a second one to open the chamber. So fortunately, I was like, oh, this is giving me an option to be a good guy or bad guy. No, I don't care what this guy did. I'm not about to brutally kill this dude in front of me inside a cage. Like, I'm not going to basically unleash a space spider into a cage with this guy. So we did save him. When I talked to Chris earlier today, he was like, oh, you saved that guy? Oh, yeah, I just killed him. I just murdered him as soon as I saw he was bad. Dang, cold, man. But
it's like I've played too much disco. Like,
right, he's like, you're a different person. You've changed. You've changed. So that was fun. That's where we ended the stream. But before that, something else that I had seen, a lot of the storytelling in the game is environmental. So it'll either be like, the way that objects or corpses are splayed out in certain ways. You're like, oh, something happened here, and actually it's kind of funny because they're clearly making a joke about it. But in a lot of cases, there are these transcribes, right? Audio logs that flesh out what's really going on so you can hear people's voices and all this. And I walk up to this one person, and there's a note. They've got like a transcribe on their left side, a glue gun on their right side, and both of them have sticky notes on them that say "not a mimic." And I was like, "What? What is this?" So I listened to the audio log, and it's these two scientists, and they're freaking out because these mimics are everywhere in the whole station, and they're like, "I don't know what else to do. I've just been, I don't really have a gun. I have this glue gun, but I don't have like a real weapon." So the only thing I do have are Post-it notes, and I got a lot of Post-it notes. So I've been running around and putting not a mimic sticky notes on everything that I know for sure is not a mimic.
I mean, how long does it take for a mimic to like end up being a Post-it note?
So that's a great question. I tried because I now have unlocked the ability to be a mimic myself, and I tried really hard to become a sticky note because I was like, this would be funny. But the game did not let me. I even tried changing into something that had a sticky note on it and nudging my way under the sticky note so that it set it on me, but it didn't let me. But I just got a real kick out of that. It's that kind of environmental storytelling that is top tier. I mean, this game is really good at it. It's on par with Bethesda games, especially Fallout games. So I really enjoyed that. The other thing, I've got a clip that I'll post somewhere soon. It's on our Discord right now, but Russ and Odysseus were in there to witness this. But it was um, you're in this room that has this glass that does this cool sci-fi stuff. I could describe it to you, but you'd have to see it for yourself. But to get it to activate and do the cool thing, I have to go up and I have to touch a moving dot to calibrate the screen. Um,
Hmm.
so you have to go up to the screen. I mean, you're right up against the screen and you're pressing the button. And I hit one button, two button, three button, four button, and on the fourth button, the screen flashes to be transparent, and right behind it is one of the taller enemies, and it's swinging at the glass, and it breaks the glass,
Oh
and
shit.
I I I lost it. It really got me. But even better, less than a minute later, I was like trying to look for it, and I was like, oh, it must have escaped in the other direction. I looked over there, but I didn't see anything. Whatever, I'm just gonna go back to and it scared me again. It just snuck up right behind me, and I didn't see it. But we've got a great clip of it, and it was a really good time. So um, it was great. Prey continues to just be truly a wonderful experience. Play the game. Just go play the game. So much of it, I can tell you how great it is, and you can watch it on the stream. But there's even stuff um, that on a second playthrough, knowing what would happen, there are different ways to approach something. And if I wanted to save scum, I could find those things out. But there's so much game here. In fact, one time I died, and it sent me back almost 20 minutes of game. Which the good and bad is that 20 minutes was just me walking around, seeing what I could pick up. So I knew where everything was when I came back, but I was pretty bummed that I had to do it all again. But on the second pass through, I saw way more stuff that I had missed the first time. So it just really goes to show that the game is just so dense that you'll keep finding stuff the more you look, even if you've played it before. So really happy about that, and we'll play that again next Tuesday. Hopefully, we'll have Chris in there with us. I see Chris in chat now. But just an absolute blast. So that's my Prey update. That was our session 6 Prey through. Session 6, session 5.
uh,
So
I feel like 6 makes sense. Yeah, that feels right.
yeah,
That's a lot.
it is, and it's going to take me a long time to get through it at the rate I'm playing. But I mean, last night, even though I barely made any real progress in the game, that might have been my favorite session actually, because there's just so much environmental stuff. Um, there's so much juice to squeeze from it, and I love that part of this game. So that's Prey. Let's bounce back to you, Vilos.
Bounce back to the Xenoblade saga again here. So, the game that I actually put far more time into over the last few years, Xenoblade 2. So I went back to that because I have something like 7 quests left. That last time I played was probably like 8 to 10 months ago, easy. Because I don't have to play Xenoblade 2 anymore. I've got like 230 plus hours in this freaking game. But there were a few DLC quests that I did not have done. Um, I looked it up, and apparently there are like 152 total quests in the game. I know I have these 7, and I think I have 2 blade quests, and blades are characters that fight for you basically in your party, and I seriously have maybe 2 of those quests to go. So no more than 9 total quests left. I completed several of those last couple nights,
And
and my God,
how much time do you think you've put into the game so far? Like, is this about the same length as the definitive edition?
no. As far as if I were just talking main story goes, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive, you're looking at 50 to 70 hours. I think I was at about 65 hours when I beat the main story. Xenoblade 2, when I beat it, was like 75 hours. But again, I have 230 hours in this game.
Golly.
And that's not to talk about the DLC Torn of the Golden Country either. So As I said off the pod, I've got over 300 hours in this series, just on Switch, and I love it so much. Xenoblade 3 comes out in less than 2 days. Unfortunately, I had to do the digital pre-order because Nintendo is not shipping the freaking game until at least release day. Um, so that sucks. My special edition is going to be late,
Yeah.
but
Is that
that's great.
something you know or something that you expect?
Something I know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because realistically, if it was going to get here, they should have shipped it at least 2 or 3 days ago.
Oh yeah.
I also yelled on Nintendo, got chat support going. I was like, so when's the game shipping out? And they're like, yeah, whenever Nintendo or whenever you do a Nintendo pre-order, it comes 4 to 9 business days from release date, and it's like 4 to 9 business days from release day. All right,
If
cool.
nothing goes wrong,
Yeah, yeah,
man.
and everything went wrong with this pre-order, but suffice to say, I'm still gonna have Xenoblade 3 at midnight on Friday, so I am excited. Xenoblade 2, though, is just my absolute favorite game of all time. Uh, whether that's because of the anime waifus, I mean, that's definitely
I
part
mean,
of it.
look.
But the story and the characters, if you actually do spend the time with this game, it's got a ridiculous combat system, beautiful designed characters, and then well crafted written characters with a very intriguing story. And even though I've talked at great lengths on both the first game and this game as far as just sticking with it, that
Mhm.
you really get into it at the the 20 to 30 hour mark at either game. Um, it's not to say that it's ever bad during those times. For some people, it has been. Like one of the big YouTubers for Nintendo Switch content, beat 'em ups, Wood at beat 'em ups, has really like made a name for himself for bashing how much he didn't like Xenoblade 2, and he was one that did stick through that first 30 hours or so. Um, and
First
it's
30
like
hours or so. Gosh.
yeah, it's just one of
You
those
could you
things,
could
and
beat an entire Mass Effect game in that time.
true. But like playing through, it's one of those things that it's not a game that they can just put all the tutorials at the front end,
Mhm.
and they don't. You can have tutorials 50 plus hours into the game because new shit's happening. Xenoblade 3 has already proven that there are more functions of your characters. There's so many class switching things. You have 6 main party members that you are controlling at any given time in Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
And remind me, is this a
Six.
game? Because my brain naturally wants to
Yeah.
say this is similar to Fire Emblem, just because there are
Yeah.
adjectives that it
It
has
is
in
not.
common. This is not a permadeath game, correct?
No, no. This is a JRPG. In Xenoblade 2, you are controlling 3 main party members, and each of them has has 3 blades that they can have attached to them at any given time, and you can switch. You can switch between them
Oh, and
during battle.
when you say they can have 3 blades attached, you mean they have 3 mercenaries, which really, because they're attached, you're saying everybody has like 3 girlfriends with them in battle at every time.
Basically, yeah. Basically,
I'm
yeah.
glad I got that right.
Uh,
Okay, let me write that down.
now, some of them are robot girlfriends, or some of them are hideous monsters. So
We
it's
don't
not all
judge
white.
here.
Yeah. But it's such a great story. It's a very anime story, and it's nothing but twists and turns, and it's fantastic. Um, it really sets a lot of standards. A lot of people will say that about the first game, but for me, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 sets a lot of standards um, for just giving so much oomph to these characters.
Yeah,
Um, for having such a wide cast, you shouldn't care about every one of them so much.
yeah,
But when you've played 230 hours of a story with all these characters, it's something. The relationships there that you can build are just phenomenal. And it's just an action RPG that has really unique combat. Um, I personally, even though I don't play every JRPG out there, but I've played a shit ton.
Hmm.
This this game has the most unique combat that you'll find, and Xenoblade 3 has already proven that it's going to have even uh, more of the same and more period. Because if you haven't seen, Xenoblade 3 has um, a combat system that is literally the first game and the second game combined, and then they put more shit on top of it.
Oh yeah.
So it's wild. I can't even describe how crazy it's gonna get. But next week, that's probably all I will talk about as far as games played.
Hell yeah.
I'm so excited and so already exhausted at the same time.
So already exhausted. Well, I wish you luck. I mean, I know you're gonna have a good time. I'm sure you do too. You think? Well, so is that the definitive? Not the definitive edition because now there's so many adjectives. The
Hmm.
the special edition, the collector's edition
Yeah.
of Xenoblade 3.
Yes.
Okay, so that's gonna come a little bit late, but the release date for that is next Tuesday.
No, the release date is 2 days from now, Friday.
2 days from now. Don't games
Yeah.
usually come out on Tuesdays? Or do they come
Nintendo
out on
games come out
Thursday?
on Fridays, but yeah, everybody else comes out on Tuesdays. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I'll have to remember that because even though I'm sure you've told me that before, that's not like something I had saved in my head. Okay, so that comes out 2 days from now. So okay, so that sounds reasonable that you'd get that before next Wednesday. Well,
Oh yeah,
I hope you get it as swiftly as possible. I hope you have the thing in your hands very soon.
for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy the special edition when it gets here. That steelbook, the art book, and just the beautiful box. But yeah, that digital pre-order is gonna save my butt because I took the day off work for Friday, so
Heck yeah.
it's gonna be lit out here.
That's awesome. Well, cool. Well, the last thing I've got on my list here is of course Raft. We've played Raft plenty of times, but this time we finally uh, we started one of our new like challenge. Like we have a specific way we're trying to build our raft in this one. But let me switch it over here. This wasn't just a regular stream. This was a drag stream. So my friend, one of my very best friends, back in Kansas City, the same wonderful friend who helped me move out to Seattle when I first came out here. It was her birthday, so she threw a big Dungeons and Drag Queens party for her birthday. Well, we couldn't make it. It wasn't gonna happen. We couldn't hop on a plane and make it in time, but we wanted to, you know, be a part of that. Well, what do you know? From our subathon, we still had an unredeemed um, makeup sub goal. Right, we hit 30. We hit 30 subscribers right at the end of our subathon, which meant that there was, I wasn't going to put makeup on right as we wrapped up the show. So I was like, oh, I'll do it another time. Well, when I knew this drag queen party was going on, I was like, well, this is absolutely perfect. So we did that on Saturday. Lizzie did my makeup as we, like, on stream. We did all that. I wore one of her dresses that I like. I've definitely never worn it before. um, and I was surprised it fits so well. I mean, I'm a real skinny guy. But I did that. I wore her wig that she wore several Halloweens ago when she dressed up as Diva from Overwatch. Um, so yeah, we had the wig, we had the dress. She had chat contribute what they wanted, what makeup they wanted. I've learned a lot about eye makeup, and I pretty much only want to have anything to do with eyeshadow because I have a problem with eye stuff. You know, whether it's my own eyes or even like watching a horror movie. I can watch a lot of simulated violence, but as soon as people are messing with eyeballs, just tell me when it's over. Just tell me when it's over. So we did some eyeshadow, we did a bunch of blush, we did a bunch of lipstick, and she did paint my fingernails. Um, but it was funny. We picked a color that it's very light, and you wouldn't even see it if I held up my fingers right now. But it was supposed to change color in the sunlight. Well, I've been in the hot sun a bunch of days this week, and I can tell you it didn't work. So maybe next time. It turns out it's actually right here. It's just old nail polish. So maybe next time, we'll get some new stuff. But
Such a disappointment.
yeah, but it was a lot of fun. I had absolutely no focus that stream. I couldn't focus on anything. And actually, the like hairnet I was wearing underneath the wig, um, I think it was constricting my head too much because I got like woozy. I straight up was like somebody out of, I was like a woman in an old 1920s, thing where something happens and you faint, you know. So I had to like pause the stream and put on words on stream because I was like, I'm lightheaded. I have to like lie down for a second. But after we overcame that, um, we had a really fun stream. I was talking about it. I mean, that was genuinely a lot of fun. I did some theater in high school, and actually my first experience of doing anything like that when I was in third grade. I don't know if I've ever told you this, Vilos. When I was in third grade, I always did the talent show with a couple of my best buddies, and our moms would put together a skit or something for us to do for the talent show. And when I was in third grade, we did choreography for Aretha Franklin's Respect. And we did all this stuff. We had dresses and wigs and purses and makeup and pantyhose, the whole deal. So that's how it all started. But yeah, I mean, honestly, dressing up a drag is really so much fun. But I've never done that like outside of theater or something. Like I've never properly dressed in drag. So that was a really good time. Everybody was very supportive. Everyone told me I looked wonderful, which, truthful or not, I mean, man, it feels good, you know. But that was a really good time. I absolutely would do that again for charity or something. Because while it was fun, I wouldn't do that just for no reason, you know. But if we did something again and we were raising money for a good cause, I would totally 100% do that again. It was an absolute blast, and it was nice to have everybody be so supportive every step of the way. So that's what I did.
We're taking suggestions for Extra Life already, chat. Just throw them in there.
I mean, that's not wrong. You got a lot of time to think about that stuff. But that was the actual stream. As far as the Raft gameplay, our sort of challenge this time, because there are no physics in the game. Like, you don't have to balance the raft. Technically, there's fall damage, but it's minimal, and that's the closest thing you get to physics in this game. So our goal is to basically build a raft shaped like an upside down Christmas tree. Very narrow at the bottom, like comically narrow at the bottom. And then as you build up, it just gets wider and wider. And eventually it will be very tall and very wide. But yeah, we're at the beginning of this playthrough because we just started it on Saturday. Since I had no focus, that entire stream was all brought to you by Odysseus and Deadpool. Thank you to them for being troopers there as I straight up just ran up and down the ladders over and over, fell in the water over and over, and then got eaten by the shark a couple times. I'm a good crewmate. But that's been a lot of fun. With the 1.0 release, we're about to start hitting more of the content that's new, rather than a lot of the content that we've seen already. But that was a good time. So that was Raft. If you want to see me do something like that again, seriously, submit something to us, because whether it's for Extra Life or a special stream of a similar sort, I'd totally do that again. That was a fun Saturday night. So, Vilos, do you have anything else gameplay-wise?
Oh, man. I grabbed up Live Alive, and I did want to play it some this week. I
So
wanted
that's
to play
how
it
you
Monday,
say that.
but
Live
yeah.
Alive.
Yeah. So I meant to play it on Monday, but I came home right after work and passed the fuck out. So I have a blog coming probably tonight that should have been released on Friday. And I did have one more thing. If anybody wants to watch it, I'll drop it in chat. But I did drop an exoprimal music video of sorts with my gameplay footage from the other day. So
Yeah.
I dropped that on our YouTube. It's fun. It shows you just a little bit of what exoprimal involves. It's super cool if you're into dinosaurs.
Heck yeah. Then Besides that, the only thing I would hit are a couple little newsy items, just kind of a public service thing. The one that Chris told me I have to talk about is the new monthly PlayStation Plus games. So actually, I haven't clicked in to see if these are for certain tiers. Let me see if I can quickly discover this. Like tiers of the subscription. Oops, Hello, probably Chris in chat.
Yep,
I'm not
it's a
even.
rabbit.
I'm not even gonna fix it. Chris, tell us about these
Whoops.
PlayStation.
Whoopsie daisies.
Hey, I tell you what, if you
Oh,
turn
we're
your
looking
camera on,
great.
I can fix this up real quick.
Okay. Yep. Just there's a max. There's a max like right
Oh,
in
of
the way.
course there
There's a
is. That's
there's
where
a
he's meant to be.
there it is.
That's
There's
funny.
that cat butt.
All right. Yeah, give me a second, but I'll get us fixed here.
You're doing great. I didn't. I was like, man, if I enter, is it gonna be a problem? I'm like, no, it's probably gonna be fine.
Nah.
It wasn't. It wasn't fine. So yeah, this PlayStation Plus lineup for the free games that you get with your PS Plus subscription for August is crazy.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, the HD collection or whatever, the remaster.
Which is
That's
really
awesome.
fun.
I already have it, but that's cool. Yakuza Like a Dragon. Let's go. That is fun. And Little Nightmares. That's like a crazy good lineup. They don't normally do that.
For sure.
There we go.
Just a reminder for anybody that has Game Pass, it's nothing new, but for sure, if you haven't indulged in Game Pass and you've got PlayStation Plus, that is a good start.
It is.
It's good. It's like I like they recently like Stray was out on there for the PS Plus premium stuff, and they put out some other games that weren't great. it was like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Rogue, Assassin's Creed.
I was about to say the Rebel Collection or something.
Yeah, it's like all the like kind of
the
spin-offy
ones
ones.
you don't want to play.
I would play Black
Yeah.
Flag. That's the only Assassin's Creed game that I really want to play. Not that I think it's the best one. But the only other one I'd be interested in is Odyssey. But from what I've heard, same with Origins, it's just too long. There's just too much.
It's too long, and you wouldn't, Thomas. You would not.
I know,
don't.
I know, and I can't complete short games, so I'd never finish that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's super rad. I saw I shared it in the group and some people were like, "Oh shit." It's like yeah, I mean every once in a while they hit you with a real good month. Like there was that one month that was Deep Rock Galactic and Curse of the Dead Gods, I think.
Yeah.
Like they have good ones. They do have good ones. Now, like I said, if you have a PlayStation and you don't have Game Pass, if you don't have PS Plus Premium, I'm not sure exactly what you're doing with your life.
Yeah,
Paying full price for games? What?
Meanwhile,
buying like one game.
Meanwhile, Vilos is over here buying collector's editions, and Saab is over there buying $100 founder editions for games that they're never going to play.
Yeah, see, one of us is doing it a little bit better, but I'm not gonna throw Saab under the bus. Oh wait, I just did.
Oh, under the bus? Is that a callback to the stream?
Oh, it should be.
Yeah.
From Resident Evil. Oh, that's fantastic. I don't think we've posted that clip like officially anywhere. I'll make sure.
We need to get that on Twitter. I don't think we downloaded it yet.
We'll get that up pronto because that is just a beautiful clip.
It's really good.
Yeah. All we were missing was like a dunk dunk, like a big old bus horn.
We could add that in.
We could. That's the power of editing, baby. What else do we have? The thing that has taken over our community this week has been all the mods for Stray, which we played last week. Chris was in the pilot seat on that one. Stray has a mod where you can play as Garfield. It has a mod where every time you meow, the meow is replaced with Jason from Heavy Rain. There is a multiplayer mod where you can do split screen multiplayer, which sounds really cool. And if I'm just scrolling through our news channel here on Discord, which is usually where I pull uh, the news that we talk about each week, Vilos, you posted this thing about Nier. Do you want to talk about that for just a second? This secret?
What was the thing about Nier?
Uh,
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember now. Okay. Yeah, out of nowhere, this person on Twitter was just like, "Hey, do you guys know how to like get out of this or get into this area, whatever?" There's a particular, I think they called it a cathedral or a church or something like that. There's a moment in Near Automata where you are in this white world that's kind of this baseline um, blank place, and this I think it's the second time you go into this place, you fight a shit ton of enemies, and in the video that this person posted, they're fighting, and all of a sudden they go towards this certain part of the level, and a door just opens out of nowhere, and they walk into it, and it's this completely like undiscovered level within a level, and it's really epic. It makes no sense, but in if you've played Nier Automata, you know that there's shit like this going on all the time.
and for those unfamiliar, Nier Automata came out 5 years ago. So for
Yeah,
someone to have discovered this right now is very cool.
yeah, it was a very Breath of the Wild moment, and the video that they posted was really cool. Just like they were just in the middle of fighting, and this door opens. You see like this light come around and reveal this door, and it opens without any button presses. I don't think he just slides right in and uh, explores this very twisty, surreal space, and it's super cool. I mean,
That's fun.
uh, and I can't wait to see when it comes out on Switch. I want to see if that's actually going to be in that version too, because if it is, oh boy, I don't need another reason to play through the game again, but I'm gonna in 3 months when it
Right.
comes to
It's
Switch.
insane to me, Vilas, that you can replay these very long games that you love so much and still have time to beat way, 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 way more games per month, per year than I can even hold a candle to, you know?
Yeah, I'm trying really hard, but yeah, there are a few games that I've been itching to replay this year, and it's a struggle. But
It's a good
man,
problem to have.
yeah,
Yeah.
I realized the other day that I kind of realized I didn't realize until I played through Flower that I actually did complete it the first time on PS3. I was like, oh, wait a second,
Oh,
I,
really?
I did all this, so I had it on my backlog list until the stream was over, and I was like, damn it, I thought I didn't finish it, but I totally did.
It totally did. Oh, that's silly.
Yeah.
The only other things I could pull off of here real quick, there's another Darkest Dungeon 2 update. There's a trinket overhaul. I mentioned that because we played it here on the show, I don't know, month ago or so, 3 or 4 weeks ago, probably. So another big update, Darkest Dungeon 2 is still in early access. It will be for quite a while. They did say, I think they did actually have a release date, and I mentioned that on another podcast, but I don't remember what it is. But um, game seems good. It seems properly hard now, and beating either succeeding or failing in a run happens. You have to be a lot more thoughtful about what you do. Before, you could just kind of blaze through it, and win or lose, it would happen fast. And now the grind seems to be more of a grind with the good parts of that, um, where the difficulty is like, if you lose a run and you die and you have a game over, it's really not that big a deal. You just start back over, and it's really fun from the beginning again. So you don't really lose things. Like you don't lose anything when you lose the game. Like you start a fresh run, but you only unlock more and more things, so it only gets more and more fun. But anyway, that's Darkest 2 trinket update. The other thing is Rogue Company just had a big update that overhauled gadgets. We play a whole lot of Rogue Company around here, and I've been excited for that change since they announced it on Twitch.
What they do?
On like Friday. Gadgets
A lot.
now. So any gadget, grenades, trophy systems, claymores, now instead of being consumable and where you get them back when you die, they are on a cooldown just like your ultimate. And the ability, like if you upgrade your ability all the way, instead of being like, hey, now you have 2 smoke grenades, instead the last one will be, now the cooldown is reduced by 10%. And the perk that you got that says resupply, where if you kill somebody, there's a hologram box on their body that you can pick up, and it restocks your gadgets. Hi, kitty. Instead, that reduces your overall cooldown for every gadget that you carry. I'm not sure if that applies to your ultimate since that's not a gadget, but it's a big change, and so that just went live either Monday or Tuesday. So I haven't played since then. I'm excited to check it out, but everything they showed seemed really cool. There's other things. There's some new skins based on masteries. So when you play a character a whole lot, you unlock a different color skin for them that you can only get that way. And Trench got some sort of rework, but I didn't really pay much attention to that. But yeah,
I'll be down to hop on tomorrow night if that's going to be a thing.
we've certainly had the squad lately.
Yeah.
We have people in our Discord right this very moment playing that game. So
I'm pretty sure. Yep. I think I saw that when I hopped in.
yeah,
I really quick to derail this whole news situation.
sure.
I finished a game.
Whoa, Chris.
That's crazy.
I know, insanity. Oh, Max is starting to freak out. I finished Mafia Definitive Edition.
Oh, okay.
I was on the last level when I set it down and hadn't played in a while. So I just finished it out, and let me tell you, the ending of that game, pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Spoilers for a game that is very old, but the way it ends is the Don kind of turns his back on you and has one of your friends try to kill you, and your other buddy that you joined up with is dead, and you're trying to. So you're the big thing is you have to kill your friend now in order to get away and start talking to the cops and be the rat that puts the Don away forever and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Mafia stuff,
You know.
And it the cutscene that it gives you.
Oops.
And having a good life and being then them being yeah, whenever you that's the funny thing about family is you can never get rid of them, or it's family for life or that kind of stuff. And you're watering plants in your front yard in this nice suburban home, and a fucking car pulls up and people get out and they say they say your name. Tony D'Angelo, I think is the name. It's something very silly like that.
Chris, Italians have normal names, okay? Look.
Well, yes. It's just very very.
It's every fictional mobster. There's always a Falcone.
Yes.
There's always a Falcone.
Yeah. So they go. So they. Oh, hopefully Max doesn't interrupt what's going on. He's messing with cords behind the computer.
Well, your camera immediately froze, so that's good.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. That's what he did. So Max, you shit. Anyway, so you turn around and the 2 guys that are there to murder you are the 2 main characters from Mafia 2.
Wow.
And they say that Don sends his regards, and they're blah 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 blah. And that's the way the game ends. And it says hey, when you're in this life, you're in it forever, that kind of thing. And it's okay, well, I don't really want to play 2 again because they didn't do the same really good overhaul graphically that they did for 1.
Right.
But I was man, that's good. That's just good shit, because then you play an entire game figuring out how these people got in there. And I'm just gonna have to, I'm gonna have to probably turn my camera off and turn it back on again, Thomas, in order for this to work again.
Then we'll switch over here. You go for it.
It should have. It does do that in the main hub. It goes start a new game, continue, blah blah blah. Oh, Max, what are you doing?
Oh my gosh.
There's a thing called you can control the cat sometimes.
Hey, hold on. No, they have
I cannot
technology.
wait. I cannot. There it is. Okay, I was waiting for my camera to catch his head. He's literally right here on top of the computer.
Oh my gosh, look at those paws. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, look at this. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
I've only heard Navi cry twice since the podcast started. It's way too hot in this room for me to close the door. So, we're rolling with it. That's showbiz, baby.
Oh.
Oh gosh. Well, Chris, you can keep telling us about Mafia after the show, but we should probably wrap this up because
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
the whole off the rails Max is here now. So now that Max is on screen,
Ruined it.
There's
Agent of Chaos as well.
Agent of Chaos. Well, speaking of chaos, thank you everybody who stuck around for the podcast version. But the show's not over. We are about to go start playing As Dusk Falls, where I think Odysseus in chat is going to be our Agent of Chaos, our chaotic evil voter.
Yeah, he'll make sure we all die. It'll be great.
Yeah, so As Dusk Falls is a choose-your-own-adventure game. We all vote in chat on the decisions that the characters are going to make. They aren't always going to work the way that the three of us want them to, so it'll be very exciting for everybody. But I've been Tegan. This has been Vilos. Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
that's me.
That's me.
And that is Max and his owner, Chris.
Yes. Meow.
We are the Party Invite crew. We've got a bunch of stuff. Vilos writes a blog on our website, partyinvite.games. You can find the Exoprimal video that Vilos mentioned earlier on our YouTube, along with a bunch of other stuff. You can find the rest of our socials on our website as well. Something that I want to start doing this week. I didn't really give you guys any prep for this, but this is something I want to have the community also get involved in. I want to talk about what's something that made you smile this week. It could be something not related to gaming. It could be your personal life. For me, I thought of two things that I really liked since last week. We had the emotional gaming topic last week, right? And the very next day, I was listening to KEXP, which is our local huge public radio station here in Seattle. And the whole next day was dedicated to the power of healing and music based on stories with cancer. And so the whole day was the DJs and the audience telling their stories and sending in requests based on their experiences, their struggles, victories, healing, and memories associated with fights with cancer. And some of them were very funny, like they were shockingly, like humor is one way to deal with strong, difficult situations. Mm-hmm. And so people told a lot of stories that had me laughing out loud that like I wasn't expecting. And then other stories did not have happy endings, and so I drive for a living, so I'm driving around and just going through the roller coaster of emotion there. But the whole thing was just absolutely fantastic, and I thought it was very appropriate that came one day after we had really dug into our feelings, talking about emotional games and why we play games, and basically the power of healing with those games. So it was very analogous to that. The other thing I've been listening to, I've been going back and listening to, I started at the beginning of the No Sleep podcast, which has just been a blast, listening to my favorite horror podcast. Once again, I've already listened to all of it twice, and now I'm starting a third run through. But I just love that stuff. I have been having a wonderful time with it. But that stuff's made me smile, Vilos, do you have anything that just jumps out at you? Like I said, I didn't give you guys really any prep time for this. But if you have anything, same with chat. If you have something, tell us here in Twitch chat or tweet at us, really Vilos, on Twitter or holler at us in Discord. But tell us something that made you smile this week.
For sure.
It's probably this guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's kind of a little shit. He made me bleed earlier.
I saw it.
Thomas saw that earlier. I was like holding him like this and just started like
it's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen again. We're about to see Chris bleed on
He
camera.
got very frustrated with me. It was like he like just turned and looked at me and went, yeah, just like stabbed me in the face with his claw. But
and there it is. Except earlier that was Chris's face instead of his microphone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Hey, stop doing this." Ow! 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 Why?
I can tell you
Yeah,
why.
so that makes me smile.
He's like, earlier I did this exact same thing and it made me bleed. Max, why are you freaking out so badly?
Well, I was just holding him. I didn't actually start shaking him this time. But yeah, I like that because that's very sweet of you, Thomas, to ask people what made them smile.
You know, just nice to be a positive, a point of positivity in people's lives.
However, I never smile,
Yeah,
so
no smile
Well, there
zone.
you go.
Very
Nope.
frowny Vilos. That's what they call him.
Brownie vibes only.
And even though I don't specifically search for happy content and stuff, there's definitely plenty of funny stuff. And for anybody that really wants to get in on the developer side of gaming, that also like somebody that really has somebody that's really on the nerve of the gaming industry and how it's improving narratively and just with great new ideas. If you are a fan of screwing around on Twitter all the time, check out Xavier Nelson Jr. He is the narrative designer and oftentimes director of games like uh, man, I just blinked. Space Warlord, Organ Trading Simulator.
Oh yeah.
He was the narrative designer for Skatebird. Tons of stuff, but he decided to he and his team decided to make an Among Us themed update for Space Warlord.
What?
Yeah.
Where they had a bean character with like
I
a
haven't checked
bean
it out yet.
ending?
I haven't checked it out yet, but he calls it the most evil quest he's ever designed, and he's not only great for Twitter and or TikTok content. The dude is fucking hilarious, and he's darkly funny, just incredible dark humor as well as just well thought out, very wordy humor. They created a new update, and again, it's free if you. And Space Warlord, by the way, is $14 for the next actually until August 1st. So on Steam, it's $14 instead of $20. But they released this new update that has an Among Us theme. So it's basically a new trader that does very specific things, has a very specific story and ending. But what he said basically was that he made basically the worst possible character that you can imagine. The game is already sets you up to be a horrible person,
Mm-hmm.
but he's made it where this new character makes it impossible to do the right thing. Like you are just
Sabotage.
gathering and trading the worst things. And I think the specifics of it was he basically equated it to an influencer, and an influencer that's asking for like they say something like, I want a mythic lung, but I'm not going to tell you the quality that I need it or the size that I want it. You're just supposed to guess because you need to be in the know. You need to be an influencer like me. And it's for those of you that haven't played Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator, like
That sounds impossible.
Yeah, it's an impossible thing to do, and it's obviously going to make this game so much more fun. Trying to satiate this new character. So again, Xavier Nelson Jr. Look him up on Twitter. I think he's got the same name on TikTok, but he's a super funny dude and actually has really great insights on the gaming industry, as well as has just created some of the most unique things that I've seen in gaming over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Well, then that will actually wrap up the podcast. Thanks everybody for joining us. Like I said, partyinvite.games is our website. That's where you can find links to everything. But I think we should scoot our boots over and play some Dusk Falls.
Yes, that was a podcast.
Boot goofing.
That was a podcast. Thanks for joining us, Max. I meant to shout him out. Man, it's too late. I'll get him next time.